I would now like to invite the moderator of our panel discussion tonight, Steve Call, Dean of the Columbia Journalism School, to join me in giving the awards. Steve is himself a two-time Pulitzer Prize winner for work he did at the Washington Post and for his book Ghost Wars, The Secret History of the CIA, Afghanistan, and Bin Laden. The J. Anthony Lukas Book Prize is presented to a book-length work of narrative nonfiction on an American topic that exemplifies the literary grace, commitment to serious research, and social concern that characterized the distinguished work of the award's namesake. This year's winner is Dr. Sheri Fink for her book, 5 Days at Memorial, Life and Death in a Storm-Ravaged Hospital, her gripping account of patient deaths at a New Orleans hospital in the wake of Hurricane Katrina. The judge's citation reads that her book combines every element of journalistic excellence that marked the work of J. Anthony Lukas, an astutely chosen subject full of moral complexity, superb in-depth reporting, deftly controlled literary narrative, and an open-minded ability to present its characters and the ambiguities of their unprecedented situation with fairness and good judgment. She raises pressing questions about how public institutions prepare for natural disasters and how we decide who lives or dies in the midst of a catastrophe. 5 Days at Memorial will stand as a classic of ethically driven nonfiction. The finalist for this award is reporter Jonathan M. Katz for The Big Truck That Went By, How the World Came to Save Haiti and Left Behind a Disaster. His selection is especially sweet because he was here just 2 years ago as the winner of the J. Anthony Lukas Work in Progress Award and used the $30,000 prize money well. Jonathan M. Katz, the citation reads, emerged from the wreckage of the 2010 Haiti earthquake with a riveting account of a catastrophe. He was the Associated Press correspondent, the only American reporter in Haiti when the quake hit. He saw a natural disaster compounded by human folly, the folly of the well-intended folks who paved the road to hell. He had a moral responsibility to bring us news from Nowheresville. He succeeded in this brave and engaging book. Congratulations. The Mark Linton History Prize is awarded to a work of history on any subject that best combines intellectual distinction with felicity of expression. This year, I'm very proud that the award goes to one of Harvard's own, a master storyteller and a friend of Nieman's, history professor Jill Lepore, for Book of Ages, The Life and Opinions of Jane Franklin, a book that was also Time Magazine's Best Nonfiction Book of the Year. Jill is professor of American history and chair of Harvard's History and Literature program. She also is a staff writer at The New Yorker, and her next book, The Secret History of Wonder Woman, will be published this October. The citation reads, in a voice both clear and rich, Jill Lepore opens readers to the life and thoughts of Jane Franklin Macham, an energetic and intelligent woman of small means in 18th century Boston. She intertwines that story with that of her famous brother, Benjamin Franklin. Although sprung from the same parents and devoted to each other, that she was female and he was male allowed different opportunities. An imaginative historian, an assiduous researcher, as well as a brilliant writer, Lepore creates from shards of evidence a palpable presence, enabling readers to understand Jane intellectually and emotionally. In doing so, Lepore dramatizes what gender meant in early America and the beauty that a superb writer can bring to an ordinary life. Jill? The finalist for the Linton History Prize is Christopher Clark for The Sleepwalkers, How Europe Went to War in 1914. Clark, professor of modern European history and a fellow of St. Catherine's College at the University of Cambridge in England, could not be with us tonight, but will accept the award on his behalf for a book that the judges called the finest study yet written of the coming of the seminal calamity of the 20th century, the one from which all others flowed. With impeccable and wide-ranging scholarship, Clark demolishes the durable old assumption that the First World War was the inevitable result of bellicose, overarmed European powers eager to fly at each other's throats, who used the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand as a flimsy excuse to do so. Clark's sleepwalkers are watchful but unseeing, haunted by dreams, yet blind to the reality of the horror they were about to bring into the world. Congratulations to him. And last, the J. Anthony Lucas Award for a Work in Progress is given to aid the completion of a significant work of nonfiction on a topic of American political or social concern. Adrienne Berard, a graduate of the Columbia Journalism School, has won the $30,000 award for When Yellow Was Black, the untold story of the first fight for desegregation in Southern schools. The judges praised her for focusing on the untold story of the first fight for desegregation in Southern schools as she explores the grim dilemma faced by the gray races, those who are neither black nor white. 30 years before the Supreme Court's landmark Brown versus Board of Ed decision, a 9-year-old girl of Chinese descent was called into the principal's office and told that she and her sister could no longer attend the Rosedale, Mississippi public school because they were not white. The Lum family found this decision unjust and were determined to reverse it. Adrienne tells the story in a deeply affecting narrative that is both epic and intimate. When Yellow Was Black will make an important contribution to our understanding of the history of an ever more diverse nation and the shaping of its future. Congratulations. The finalist for the Work in Progress Award is Yoshi Driesen for The Invisible Front, Love and Loss in an Era of Endless War. He is the deputy editor for news at Foreign Policy and is completing a book about military suicide, the product of a dozen trips to Iraq and Afghanistan. The judges said, The Invisible Front is a detailed, compassionate, and compelling report from the front lines of what the author calls the Army's Third War. Its fight against the plague of military suicides in the wake of our prolonged conflicts in Iraq and Afghanistan. It puts a hauntingly human face on the struggle to understand the psychic wounds that our soldiers carry home with them, correct a culture of denial within the armed forces, and find life-saving solutions for a profoundly disturbing problem. It is a wake-up call for both civilian and military leadership and a warning of yet another of the unmeasured costs of modern war. Congratulations. And now over to Steve.